Today is January 4th, 2024, and I'm going to talk to you about sarcopenia. I think I've done 2 or 3 of these already, but I want to do another one. And this is going to be as current as I can get it because this is January 2024. So here we go. How to prevent and reverse, heavy on the reverse, sarcopenia. And remember, I'm reading this to you from a medical doctor, but a medical doctor has his thought processes and I have mine. So I'm going to make my comments as we go through this. And I think it's going to be really good. So the last time I talked to you, I reported on the weakness, the fragility, and loss of function that happens as we get older simply from a loss of muscle mass known as sarcopenia. I also pointed out how sarcopenia can significantly ruin your quality of life, but also leads to, listen to this, cardiovascular disease, cancer, obesity, and diabetes. That was the bad news. Oh, that's good. Maybe we have some good news. Well, this time I'm reporting on the good news. How to prevent sarcopenia and how to reverse it if you already have it. That's a big thing. If you can reverse it or prevent it if you're not 80 or 90 years old yet and you've had it for 20 or 30 years, this is going to be a godsend to you. So here we go. Skeletal muscle mass, your muscles, are regulated by a tight process that involves the regular loss of muscle protein and the creation of new muscle protein to replace what has been lost. Makes sense, right? You lose muscle protein and you replace it with regular muscle protein. New muscle protein, let's say that. And every day our skeletal muscle proteins are continuously being turned over and simultaneously being renewed. That happens all the time. So sarcopenia happens, this is the problem, happens when the turnover processes exceed the renewal processes. So you got 20 cars here, you got 20 cars here, 20 cars are leaving, 20 cars are coming in. That's balance. But when you have 20 cars leaving and only 6 or 7 coming in, that is a problem. And that's what I'm saying. Sarcopenia happens when the turnover processes exceed the renewal processes. The new cars coming in is the renewal process. So if you got more going out than you have coming in, there's going to be a deficit. And this is critical. And your diet is critical to your balance. So when healthy young men and women, these are people that don't think they have any problems and never will have any problems, consume sufficient daily amounts of protein around 0.8 grams per kilogram or body, okay? Weight. There is an immediate increase in muscle protein synthesis and a decrease in muscle protein turnover. Now what happens is that process generates a positive protein balance that maintains their skeletal muscle mass. Okay, so they got plenty coming in. They don't have any problems at all. Then, when exercise is added in, they not only maintain that skeletal muscle mass, but they also build it up when the exercise is added. Unfortunately, though, this is not what's going to happen to these young men and women when they get older. Nope. As that happens, as they get older, their bodies will become resistant to the effects of protein consumption and exercise. Resistant. So according to one review article on sarcopenia, data regarding the effects of resistant exercise and protein ingestion suggest that older people are less sensitive to the anabolic muscle-building effects of exercise and protein and essential amino acids ingestion. Now, this condition called anabolic resistance of aging is characterized by a blunted stimulation of muscle protein synthesis to protein ingestion and regular exercise. Now, you probably do not understand what that said. or what I just said. The authors go on to explain of that study that these effects result in a chronic state of negative muscle protein balance. Negative. With rates of muscle protein breakdown being constantly higher than muscle protein synthesis. So there's more being broken down than there is being added. So in other words, if you're losing your muscle mass faster than you are replacing it, that's what I'm talking about right here. In 2015, researchers pulled together data from 6 studies performed in the same laboratory with similar designs. They found a significant reduction in muscle protein synthesis in older men and women after ingesting 20 grams of casein protein compared to younger men and women. Significant reduction in muscle protein synthesis. Fortunately, they also found that although muscle protein synthesis after a protein meal decreases as we get older, that can be overcome by simply increasing protein intake. Okay. For example, older men and women show the same level of muscle protein synthesis after a protein meal as young men and women, as long as they eat twice the amount of protein. Now, this is borne out by the fact that men and women consuming higher amounts of protein are 40 to 50% less likely to be frail to the point of being physically dependent than those eating less protein. Okay? So you need to double up on the protein as you get older. Collectively, these studies show how important it is for men and women over 50 to eat greater amounts of protein than they did when they were young. But although it increases muscle protein synthesis, does simply increasing your amount of protein actually increase muscle mass? Turns out there's more to this story, and that's what we're here for, to give you all of the story. And let me give you an example. In 2018, researchers looked at a group of 92 men 65 and older who had sarcopenia. 2018 study, 92 men, 65 and older, and they already had sarcopenia, muscle wasting. So they increased their protein intake in half of them by 62%, increased to 1.3 grams versus 0.8 grams by giving them extra protein in the forms of milk protein, casein, and whey protein. And the study went on for 6 months. At the end of the study, the men on the increased protein were no better off in terms of muscle mass, strength, or physical performance. Muscle mass, strength, or physical performance. Now, why was that? Why didn't the increase of protein intake result in more muscle mass in the older group? In an even more remarkable study, researchers looked at a group of 184 healthy men and women, 65 and older. They gave half of them 40 grams of either whey protein or collagen protein twice a week. Not every day, twice a week. They gave the other half 20 grams of sugar in the form of maltodextrin twice a day. Sugar, 20 grams. At the end of 1 year, the researchers analyzed them for changes in their quadriceps muscle mass, strength, functional performance, and body composition. Amazingly, the extra collagen and whey protein worked no better than sugar. There is a problem here. Why is that? And I'm going to tell you right now. It's because the older we are, the less efficient we are at utilizing dietary protein for muscle protein synthesis. But there's a way out of this dilemma, and that's what we're talking about in this week's Sarcopenia article. It's to take free-form amino acids in the proper balance. Now, free-form amino acids refer to individual amino acids that are not bound to other molecules, such as in proteins, or peptides. This means they are in their purest and most bioavailable form, allowing for easy absorption, which is good, and utilization by your body. Young people don't need to take free-form amino acids, but as we get older, if we want to maximize muscle protein synthesis, we need free-form amino acids in the right balance. Whey protein and collagen are good, but they simply can't take the place of free-form aminos. And that's not all. Since free-form amino acids are mutually dependent, when it comes to muscle protein synthesis, taking them won't be able to do the job unless they are in the exact right balance. You have heard me talk about this before. There is only one supplement on the market that fills the bill by having the right amino acids in their free form and in the right balance. I'll go over that later. And additionally, when it comes to the right diet for preventing sarcopenia, simply increasing protein intake and taking advanced formulas is often still not enough. The other game changer is insulin resistance. As you may already know, insulin resistance is extremely common, extremely. It refers to the inability of a person's cells to effectively use the hormone insulin. Now, insulin is what is called an anabolic hormone. That means that it acts to increase muscle protein synthesis. That's what the insulin is meant to do. But in the face of insulin resistance, if you become effectively, but in the face of insulin resistance, it cannot effectively do its job. This not only leads to sarcopenia, muscle wasting, but it also leads to virtually every disease there is, including heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and cancer. That's right, all of the above. Besides causing sarcopenia because it blocks the anabolic effects of insulin, insulin resistance also leads to sarcopenia in 3 other ways. Yes, 3 other ways. First, it blocks the action of another anabolic hormone. It blocks it. And that's called IGF-1. And that particular hormone increases collagen production, regulates blood sugar, and, you guessed it, increases muscle protein synthesis. Now, IGF-1 decreases dramatically as we approach 55 years old. Wow, did you know that? I didn't. And this decrease is a major cause of sarcopenia, 55 years old. Now, I'm going to be discussing how to increase your IGF-1 levels in just a minute. But for now, I want you to remember that insulin resistance blocks GTF-1 from increasing muscle protein synthesis. So, taking measures to increase your IGF-1 levels will backfire if you also have insurance resistance. Insulin resistance. This has to be corrected first, the insulin resistance. Now, the second way insulin resistance screws up the works is because it creates fat deposits. Yes, fat deposits in and between muscle fibers. The $10 word for this effect is lipotoxicity. So I'm gonna cut that off right now because I think it's going to be important that we talk about this and get it right, because you need to know what to do and how to do it if you want to reverse sarcopenia. And then I'm also going to do another short little article, another little bonus on the no way to lose weight and avoid diabetes. The no-cost way to lose weight. And avoid diabetes. Not bad, huh? Yeah, that's going to be a good one. So I'm going to go to sleep. Hope you liked it. Hope this helped. And I will talk to you later, alligator, because it is like 1 o'clock in the morning. Bye-bye.